Did you know that you're supposed to live 120 years? Yet most people in the U.S. die in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Welcome to Longevity with Dr. Wilcox. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to add years to your life. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free. 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Dr. Simmon Wilcox.
Good morning. This is our last show of the year. We're going to talk today about a number of things. We're going to talk about the fermented foods, which we started to open a dialogue on our last show. And we talked about kefir milk. We're also going to talk about and remind you that we have the training packages for those who are looking to lose weight and undergo body metamorphosis for the year 2014. That we have both personal trainers, and the packages just don't include personal trainers, but packages include intravenous vitamins, intravenous amino acids, intravenous omegas, intravenous magnesium, intravenous glutathione. So it's very unique. So you don't just have a personal trainer, you have a personal trainer with a set of intravenous treatments that actually serve to improve the quality of your health. There are a gold, silver, and bronze packages. Actually, the ultra package actually includes myself as your personal trainer. We only do 4 of those a year. As a personal trainer plus the IV treatments. So you get the medical consultation with your personal trainer. For those of you who may recall, I was once ranked 5th in the country in powerlifting. That was 10 or 15 years ago. So I know a little bit about personal training. So just keep that in mind for those who are interested in redefining how you look, trying to lose the 10, 15, 20, 40. We've gone as much as 100 pounds down without having to go to surgery. Please give us a call and inquire about the packages we have for the upcoming year. So we began to talk the last time about the fermented foods, and we talked about kefir. And the reason that the fermented foods are so important, as we shared before, the individuals who lived in the backwoods of Bulgaria, who had life expectancies and documented to live over 100 years of age, even when most of modern Europe in the late 1800s were living to be 47 and 50 years of age. They were beating the clock by 40 to 50 years without doctors' access, without a Walgreens, without a Whole Foods, without a Trader Joe's. They were beating the clock. And when people looked at that, they decided that it was the fermented foods they were consuming that was really giving them the edge. So I just want to talk a little bit more about that, because what does that mean? Why is that important? It's important because you have bacteria in your colon, and it depends on who you read. You have 1 billion to 1 trillion bacteria that live there in your colon. Now, my grandson came up to me the other day and said, Pap, said, what you doing? I said, I'm just reading about bacteria. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm reading about bacteria in the colon. I said, you have 1 billion of them in your colon. He looked at me kind of funny and says, if I had a billion bacteria in my colon, I should see them crawling down my legs. And I said, well, no. I said, it was funny, but I paused and said, you know what? He's having the same difficulty my patients have when I say 1 billion or 1 trillion. It's hard to wrap your hands around what does that mean. Let me say it this way. You have 3 to 9 pounds of bacteria in your colon. And I think that's an easier way for you to get your hands around the concept. 3 to 9 pounds of your weight is actually bacteria, and the bacteria is located in your colon. And so that gives you a different perspective in terms of what's really going on and the importance of trying to micromanage what's happening in the colon. You look like you had a question there.
I was thinking, why do we need bacteria, Doc?
Well,
What's the purpose?
Well, the bacteria serves a number of purposes. First of all, if we have the right mix, is positive. 85% of our bacteria should be good bacteria. And in a perfect setting, 15% would be, quote, what's bad bacteria. That bacteria serves to help prevent things like depression. It helps to regenerate the lining of your gut. Remember, the colon is 26 to 30 feet long. So in terms of regenerating the gut lining, you need to be able to do that in a healthy way. Many people say all diseases originate in the gut. And so, and when you understand bacteria and what it does, you begin to understand that. The bacteria helps us to break down food. It helps us to actually process nutrients and to synthesize certain nutrients, particularly vitamin K. So it does a number of different things. And before I go on with the bacteria, I'm getting a signal here that there is a phone call. Let me just say that the bacteria actually helps us in a way, and that's why we use probiotics oftenly, because probiotics helps us to really control what's happening in the bowel. But let me just take the phone call. Hello?
Hello.
Who's on the line here?
This is Lisa Whiting.
Lisa. Oh,
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, doctor.
How you doing? Let me just explain to the world who you are. Lisa's actually one of our patients who has come to us maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago with some complaints. Could you tell us what you was complaining about when you came to us, Lisa?
Yeah, I was having so many sinus problems, and for 4 or 5 years, I've just been over the holiday season, and I don't know if it was seasonal or what, but just sinus headaches and congestion, and I could never get rid of it. And going to the doctors, getting antibiotics, and just wasn't helping. So when I came in to see the doctor, he suggested vitamins and shots and whatnot, IVs, and just full of vitamins and stuff, and it's truly helped.
What doctor was that?
Dr. Wilcox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wasn't she talking about me or the other doctor? What doctor did she go see?
Yours the only one that worked, and it was all natural.
Okay.
So, and I've just felt so much better throughout this season because I put in about 10 hours a day at work, and, I have grandkids.
Lisa, what do you do?
I'm a hairstylist.
Okay, and how old are your children?
Well, I have older kids, but I have 3 grandkids. So I'm watching them all the time, too. So around the holiday season, it's just, so hard. I get so tired by 3 or 4 o'clock, and I have no energy.
Okay, so...
And then, and then you suggested some things, and it's truly helped.
Now, if you don't mind me telling a little bit of your business, we gave her vitamin B12 injection, and that was intramuscular. We gave her intravenous omegas, as we've talked about before. The omegas help to redefine both your neuronal system and your immune system. We gave her intravenous glutathione, and which is Mother Nature's strongest antioxidant. And we gave her a Myers cocktail. Collectively, how long did the whole process take, Lisa?
Oh gosh, about 30 minutes or so.
And I have to ask this: how much pain was there?
None.
No pain. Okay.
No pain.
Okay.
No pain, and I kind of have the white coat syndrome. So, so the bedside manner was just awesome, and you explained so much to me. And before we even started this, you asked what my problems were, and we talked a lot about it. And before you even suggested doing this, and I just felt so comfortable. And I do it about once a week, once every other week.
Okay, and you're, as I've said before, we're located in the world's largest hair salon. It's about 350 hairdressers, and you're one of those hairdressers below who need their energy. Very good. How did your husband perceive the new you?
He loves it. He loves all this energy I have. I mean, and I sleep so much better at night. I really do. I feel so rested when I get up in the morning, and I have a lot of energy throughout the day. And I'm not like dead to the world at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so that's huge for me because I've been struggling with this for 3 or 4 years now. So it's just so much better to feel, you got so much energy now.
Okay.
So.
Very good. Well, thank you, Lisa, for calling. Let me just for the record, we didn't pay you for that, did we?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I was more than happy to call in and just let everybody know how great it is. I mean, I feel so much better.
And you're really echoing what a lot of patients say. They all say they sleep so much better.
Yeah.
Many individuals will say that their memory, their recall for past events has gotten better. They're seem to reconnect to things from telephone numbers to names they couldn't remember. And their ability to function going forward has transitioned just in a matter of 48 hours after receiving those treatments. So, again, we thank you for calling, Lisa. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Dr. Wilcox. You've changed my life.
So much. We'll see you and your husband in the upcoming weeks. Enjoy your
All
New
righty.
Year. Okay.
We will see you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you much. Just want to thank Lisa. We have some other patients who may get to call in today. I'm not sure. But just want the public to understand that there is an option. That Lisa didn't tell her age. I didn't press her for it, but she is a grandmother. And so she's in that group of individuals who are struggling, who have decided that I feel the way I feel because of my age, and there's nothing I can do about it. And what we've come to say is that there is something you can do about it. We can transition your energy to a younger you. That there are better options out there. That even though individuals like Lisa may have been taking vitamins, etc., and it helped a little bit, but not a lot. When you receive your nutrients intravenously, then you got them. The body has it, and the body can then go forth and do what it needs to do to transition you to the person you really want to be, to allow you to be able to take real control over your life going forward. For her, who works about 12 to 14 hours a day, she's very busy, and for 4 to 6 hours into her day, she starts to fatigue. She has a struggle to make it through the latter half of her day, and since she's gotten the treatment, that is no longer an issue. Again, we thank her for calling in. This is KLAV station 1230 AM. We're taking phone calls. The number is 702-731-1230, 702-731-1230, KLAV 1230 AM.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Just in time for the holiday season, Dr. Wilcox is offering an exclusive deal for KLAV listeners. Get a free 15-minute consultation with the purchase of a vitamin B12 injection, half price, Myers cocktail, half price, or glutathione injection. For more info, call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953. Better act fast. This is an offer on a first-come, first-served basis to a maximum of 10 patients per day. Visit Dr. Wilcox's office in Summerlin, 8751 Charleston, Suite 210, behind Fleming Steakhouse. Don't miss out on this exclusive holiday offer. Call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953.
Just about 4 years ago, I was longboarding, hit the side of a truck. This coming spring, I will have had 7 different surgeries. I'm sent home with the oxycodone and the Percocet. The dose milligram, it didn't change, but how often I would take them did. I wanted to stop. These withdrawal symptoms are something that I wish upon no one. That's where the help comes in. I went to my doctor, Dr. Wilcox. He claimed withdrawal free. It was literally a miracle. I feel, I would say 100% better.
I'm Dr. Simmon Wilcox. I've been practicing medicine for the last 23 years. My passion has been drug and alcohol dependency, particularly methamphetamine. So what I've done in my practice, I've re-engineered how we approach the detox rejuvenation process. We offer a series of intravenous treatments. You go through a process where you don't feel any symptoms. My staff's priority is to ensure you're not having that discomfort.
For more information on this miraculous treatment, call Dr. Simmon Wilcox today at 702-900-2953. Once again, that's 702-900-2953.
Do you know that 60% of the healthcare dollars spent over the next 10 years will be spent on stem cells or a stem cell related process? Listen in as we define for you how medicine will change your life and the life of those who you love over the next 10 to 15 years.
Covering the issues that matter and adding years to your life. Longevity with Dr. Wilcox. Monday and Thursday morning at 10. Only here on KLAV. Longevity with Dr. Wilcox continues. Here again, your host, Dr. Simmon Wilcox.
We're back for the second part of the show. Again, we thank Lisa for calling in. What I like listeners to understand is that those treatments we offer not only help one with energy, but what many of the patients who were struggling with energy who also had chronic pain, once they've gotten the treatment, their pain has substantially been reduced after even the first treatment. Those who will come on the radio, I think the two individuals scheduled in the next 2 weeks to come on to tell their story about how their sciatica, their chronic back pain, and their need to take pain medicine was drastically reduced when they received the treatments. Again, the intravenous omegas, the intravenous glutathione, and the Myers cocktail is all natural. It's a natural way to repair your body's system so it can function the way it was designed to function. So your body's able to put things in check as long as we give it the right ammunition. And in this case, the ammunition is fairly easy to receive. It is fairly painless. It's one IV. It is intravenous. Many people don't like the concept of needles, but it really makes a tremendous difference in the quality of your life. And it's not take this treatment and call me in 2 months to let me know how you're doing. It's take this treatment and call me in the morning and let me know how you're doing. It works that quickly. So I've been amazed, and we've been using this treatment ever since Patricia Kane, Kane, trained me on it about 14 years ago from Philadelphia. She's a brilliant biochemist, researcher, MD, who has used this combination for a long time and can continue to do research on this combination. It's very simple, but very dramatic in terms of its outcome. And so we've treated, maybe since we've been open about 2 months, and we've done about 40 sessions with different individuals, and we're growing by word of mouth. As individuals get the treatment and come back.
They start talking about it. They start chattering, and that's one of the benefits of the girls that are working down below at the spa. They're on their feet. They work hard. They're working intensely in a busy environment, and we're enabling them to work hard or harder and with less pain, less fatigue, better mental clarity, and less any pain or joints or discomforts and things of that nature, right, Doc?
Yeah, I think one of the things that struck me last week was one of the patients came back and said, I can finally enjoy my grandchildren. I can keep up with them. I would babysit them, and it would be a struggle, but now I can take them to the store. I can go to the park with them. My arthritis is nowhere near as bad since we've had the treatment protocol, and it's really made a difference in the quality of the life that you live. And that's always gratifying to hear that the difference is made. And she, like everyone else has said, the tremendous reduced reliance on medication for the joint pain, for the fibromyalgia, for the sciatica, for the back pain, for the chronic headaches, for the sinusitis. And it's made a difference in the simple things we struggle with every day and things we've decided we have to live with for life, that you really don't have to live with it for life. You can really micromanage it to the point where it's in control, where it doesn't control you anymore. It's not in charge of your life, you're in charge of it. So we have tools out there, we have options out there for individuals to consider who are struggling with trying to regain quality of life, who are trying to work and have some sense of feeling human and not having to go home at 5 or 6 o'clock and crash because they're totally exhausted and their energy has got up and gone. They don't know where it's gone, but it's gone. They don't know when it left, but it's left. And many individuals have decided that this is just a function of what happens when you get to be 40, what happens when you get to be 50, what happens when you get to be 60. And we've come to say you don't have to have low energy at age 60. You don't have to have low energy at 70. You don't have to have low energy at 80. There are ways to make a difference. There are ways to make a difference that are not toxic. There are ways to make a difference that's not expensive. There are ways to make a difference that's pretty short term in terms of how long it takes you to see the difference, how long it takes you to receive the treatment. And so we like to say we're offering that here. A number of my colleagues are offering it on the West Coast, and we're offering here on the here in Las Vegas.
You know what, Doc, and I think is and very crucial and important as well, is that when people come to see you, they actually can spend quality time with you and ask you several different questions and tell you what they're going through. It's not an in-and-out service, and I'm not knocking the medical profession, but maybe I'll knock on some insurance companies because they put doctors on such a tight regimen that you spend about 3 minutes with your family practitioner when you go see them, and they just, while they're talking to you, they're writing a script for you. When they come see you, they can spend quality time, as much time almost as needed to really get in touch with themselves.
Yeah, we easily spend a half hour talking to individuals, and I always say if you let the patient talk long enough, they'll give you the answer. They'll tell you what the problem happens to be. And I have to say, I was like my colleagues were at one point where I ran 60, 70 people a day that allowed you to talk for 3 minutes, and if you didn't give me everything you want to say in 3 minutes, your time was out. Yeah. It was time for me to take over and write that prescription and get you out of the door because the insurance companies had this time clock on me in terms of how the only way to make money was to move volume. The only way to move volume is to shortchange somebody in terms of their time. Unfortunately, our structure now is not like that. We only see, on purpose, we only see 8 to 9 people a day. Therefore, we have the ability to give the time and hear the whole story. And so I practiced the other way, though, for almost 15, 20 years. And I have to say this is a lot more gratifying to be able to hear the whole story, to then be able to step in with something that actually works and make a tremendous difference. So my colleagues, unfortunately, are struggling the way I struggle with the old system, that the insurance companies say, hey, if you want to make enough money to pay all the bills, to pay your malpractice, you've got to knock out 60 people a day. And that puts undue pressure on the physician, and unfortunately, it shortchanges the client who is trying to purchase health. And at the end of the day, what they're really purchasing is managed care. Then when you purchase managed care, you end up on the short end of the stick, but that's just the way the insurance game happens to be. And doctors are stuck in the middle of the pond in that process. But yeah, so unfortunately, we have been able to restructure that system at our location. We limit how many people we see a day, and we're able to give the time that makes a difference. So ultimately, you're not on the merry-go-round. We have to come in and see us every month and have new medications, et cetera, and nothing really gets resolved because the time is not there. So I'm happy that we have created that structure, and the patients that we've heard from have all expressed their happiness with the ability to have a dialogue, a meaningful dialogue where they feel like they get more than 3 minutes to talk about their particular issues. I think we have another call on the phone. Is it Sheila? Hello, Sheila?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Dr. Wilcox. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. I had a couple of questions. I take probiotics every day, Ultimate Flora probiotics, and I wanted to find out, is that the same as doing the fermented foods? And then I had a second question.
Well, in theory, if you're going to take something, the pills are fine. The pill probiotics are fine. What we don't know, and it's difficult to prove it by studies, we don't know if taking probiotic pills is the same as eating fermented foods that give you the probiotics. Part of the question becomes the gastric lining, the stomach, is structured to be an antiseptic, if you will. It's structured to kill any bacteria. And so we need to get those probiotics beyond the intestine beyond the stomach down into the intestine where all that bacteria lives. We do believe that works with probiotics that you take orally in terms of a capsule. I always encourage individuals, any probiotics is better than no probiotics, particularly if you're not doing fermented food. But we do not have a test to measure what degree of it has actually gotten into the colon and what degree of it has been sort of compromise in the stomach, because the stomach tries to create a clean environment, an anti-septic environment.
Okay. And what fermented foods would you recommend?
Well, there's a long list, and that's a great question. I personally like ginger. You sort of get with sushi. With sushi at the Japanese restaurant, I spent 3.5 months in the Philippines, and they do a lot of fermented papaya. That's great. We talked at the last show about kefir milk, which is probably the number one, I think, fermented food out there. It's an acquired taste, but you don't need a lot of it. But so kefir is one of them. That's great. Sauerkraut, most people don't realize it is a fermented item. And you just want to make sure that it hasn't been pasteurized, because the pasteurization of it, again, trying to do the antiseptic nature where they try to kill off the bacteria, actually compromises the quality of it. But sauerkraut, preferably unpasteurized. Okay. Sourdough bread is an option. It's a fermented option out there. Miso soup is an option in terms of things that are fermented. And you had a suggestion last week, JR. It was
on the beet kvass?
Beet kvass, which are fermented beets.
Yeah.
There are books out there for fermented cookbooks out there that one can purchase to show you how you can actually make the fermented products at home in a way that is healthy. And so fermented food is relatively cheap. It's what they've done in ancient times and what we need to reincorporate into today's life.
I think I'm going to go with the ginger, because I
yeah, I kind of reach in and eat 2 or 3 bites of ginger every morning. I just like the ginger. It's easiest for me. I actually this morning brought some kefir into the office and told everybody to at least do 2 ounces of it. It's an acquired taste. It takes some time to get used to it. Pickles are great. It's a great fermented food. Fermented pickles is really great. So I hope
kimchi.
Kimchi.
I had a second question, please.
Yes.
My second question was, you mentioned glutathione. I take L-glutamine powder every day. I put that in my smoothies. Is that the same as glutathione?
It essentially, at the end of the day, is similar in terms of the chemical makeup. The question becomes, how long does it last, and how much of it actually is absorbed into your body? So the difference between what we do and what you're doing is that we give it intravenously. Once a person has gotten several intravenous treatments, I tell them to go on oral glutathione. So it could be what you're taking. There's a something out there called Protandim, which we're not part of that downline, but
no, I think it's a multi-level, but that's the only product they have. And I've heard good results from that product.
Yeah, that product actually converts into glutathione. For those of you in the health profession who work in emergency rooms, when someone comes in with Tylenol toxicity and we're concerned about the liver, we give them something called Mucomyst. That Mucomyst actually converts into glutathione. So yes, you're on the right track with the glutathione you're taking. Again, we have no way to measure how much of that's being absorbed. So we do it intravenously initially. And once we feel like we've reached a baseline, we tell the patients to go ahead and take it themselves orally at home. And if they think they're starting to slide downhill at any point in time, they come back and receive more intravenous glutathione. But you're on absolutely the right track, Sheila.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wilcox. You are a blessing.
Thank you for calling.
You guys have a great New Year. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Have a great New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila, for that call.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break here. We're at KLAV, 1230 a.m., KLAV, 1230 a.m. Please call us at 702-731-1230, 702-731-1230. We'll be right back.
Are you having difficulty detoxing from drugs or medication? Let Dr. Wilcox help you. Call at 702-900-2953. His revolutionary detoxing program is designed to help you detox without the discomfort of other procedures. Call him at 702-900-2953 or visit his office in Summerlin at 8751 Charleston, Suite 210 behind Fleming's Steakhouse. Call Dr. Wilcox at 702-900-2953. Just in time for the holiday season, Dr. Wilcox is offering an exclusive deal for KLAV listeners. Get a free 15-minute consultation with the purchase of a vitamin B12 injection, half price, Myers cocktail, half price, or glutathione injection. For more info, call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953. Better act fast. This is an offer on a first-come, first-served basis to a maximum of 10 patients per day. Visit Dr. Wilcox's office in Summerlin, 8751 Charleston, Suite 210 behind Fleming's Steakhouse. Don't miss out on this exclusive holiday offer. Call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953.
My name is Dr. Simmon Wilcox. I'm a board-certified physician in family medicine. As a physician, I have 20 years' experience with drug and alcohol abuse. But I bring to you a new service at my facility for drug and alcohol. We're asking you to examine your household, your family, your community, and decide if there's someone there who needs what we have to offer.
Call Dr. Simmon Wilcox at 702-900-2953. Once again, that's 702-900-2953.
You're listening to Longevity with Dr. Wilcox. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. Now, here again, your host, Dr. Wilcox.
We're back for the bottom of the hour. Again, we're taking phone calls at 702-731-1230, 702-731-1230. Tony, you had a question during the break. Why don't you ask that question for me?
Yeah, I was after listening to Sheila's call, which was great, by the way. I was just wondering to myself, how much fermented food or drinks should we be eating?
Great question. There's not a clear-cut answer. As I alluded to at the top of the show, we have 3 to as much as 9 pounds of bacteria in our guts. You want to have 85% of that as good bacteria, 15% of that as, to quote, bad bacteria. Now, how much you need to eat depends on what your diet happens to be. If your diet is full of sugar, if your diet is full of white flour, if your diet is full of junk food, you need to be eating a lot more fermented foods than if your diet is more natural, it's more healthy, because the sugar and the diets that are high in sugar and high in white sugar actually feeds the bad bacteria and makes the bad bacteria proliferate. We don't have a bacteria scale per se to say how much has been proliferated. But if you know that you're among those people who are eating 200 pounds of sugar a year, you can bet you have pretty much 85% bad bacteria and 15% good bacteria. So you need to start to hustle. You need to start to work on trying to turn that around. The clients I have who have colitis, who have Crohn's disease, who have is inflammatory conditions, who have skin conditions that are inflammatory, atrophic dermatitis, eczema, etc., when I'm able to move them to a more fermented diet, when I'm able to move them off the sugars, they consistently come back and say, my flare-ups are not as often, or my flare-ups have gone completely. My skin is better. The quality of their life has improved. Now, we have no way to measure on the front end how much to tell them to take to get to that point. Each one is genetically different. Each one of us have different combinations of good and bad bacteria. So an individual has to just work through it for themselves. And if you know in your heart, you're drinking that liter of Coke every day. If you know in your heart you're drinking all of those fast food drinks and fast food hamburgers, etc., then you know that you need to work at redefining the bacteria in your gut. Because what you don't want to have is 5 to 10 pounds of bad bacteria in your gut. Because if you have that, you're going to get into trouble. If you have that and you superimpose that on, and we've had this conversation before, you superimpose that on an individual who's only having one bowel movement a week, and you got all that bacteria sitting there, it's double jeopardy. So we need to be at, like I said earlier, 3 bowel movements a day, and you need to have good bacteria. That's just basic health, and it goes a long way in terms of preventing flare-up. It goes a long way in terms of preventing the development of cancer. And I'm looking at JR, and it looks like he's trying to jump in there.
You hit me in the head, Doc, because as you were talking about this, I was thinking about exactly what you said about the bowel movements. And when you told me that if you only have 1 bowel movement a day, basically you've got probably 10 to 15 pounds of toxicity in your colon. And so that was my question, was going to be, would this help you by the fermented foods have increased your bowel movements to flush your system out?
Most people will say yes, and most patients have said that it have helped them. Clearly, if you have 1 bowel movement a week, you're in trouble. Right. If you have 1 bowel movement a day, you're still not out of jeopardy. You need to be at 3 bowel movements a day. Every time you eat, you should have a reflex experience of having the urge to go to the bathroom. Many of us have been so busy suppressing that urge that we're not there. So now we have to unsuppress that urge. We have to get to the point where we're willing to go whenever the urge hits us. I understand the issues on hand. The reality is that you don't like to go to bathrooms that are not clean. You don't like to go to bathrooms that are not yours. You want to wait to go to the bathroom at your own house. I understand all of those issues, and there's not a perfect answer to that. But at least intellectually, we need to understand that we need to be at 3 bowel movements a day at least. There's so many people who are at 1 bowel movement a week, and you combine that with the fact that they're eating junk food. The junk food is now converting good bacteria to bad bacteria, and that bad bacteria is sitting in the colon now for a week at a time. We talked about transit time, and the slower your transit time, the more likely you are to develop cancer, colon cancer. Bad bacteria helps to facilitate the development of colon cancer. Wow. So again, this is all about your health. You want to get to the point where you don't have to go to the doctor to be treated for these diseases that are fixable just by fixing your intake.
So the good thing is, if you don't want to get sick, stay healthy.
That would work. That would work. I think I'll put that on my T-shirt. Don't want to get sick, stay healthy. As per Dr. Wilcox and JR. Sure enough. To finish answering your question, we don't have a scale to determine how much you should eat. Each one of us needs to try to incorporate. If you're doing the right thing, if you're eating fairly healthy, you can get away with as little as 2 ounces of kefir milk a day, because even 2 ounces will then multiply because bacteria is going to grow. And so you don't need a lot if you're eating healthy. If you're not eating healthy, you may need to move to a quart a day to try to put yourself in check in terms of what's happening with your body. But at the end of the day, sugar is bad. Sugar feeds bad bacteria. White flour is bad. White flour feeds the bad bacteria. And the more bad bacteria you have, the more of a problem you have. Now, there's other things that compromise and put your bacteria out of check. Like if you have a bad illness, a sinus, a lung infection, a urinary tract infection, you take antibiotics. Antibiotics will offset and change the flora into in a negative direction. So after each bout of antibiotics you take, you should be proactive about trying to improve your bowel flora with probiotics, with one of the fermented foods, because we know just 4 or 5 days of antibiotic will change your bowel flora, and they change for a long period of time unless you actively do something about redefining the balance that should be there. Some of us with the chlorinated water that we're consuming will also kill off bacteria. Those of us who are undergoing different treatment regimen with different toxins, chemotherapy, etc., are killing off good bacteria. So for many reasons, many of us have to make a decision as to what else can we do? How do we modify our diet so that we're in a better place? One of my pet peeves, and after being an admitting doctor at several hospitals, is that the food we give you in the hospital tends to be food that's full of sugar. Tends to be food that's full of white flour. And if it may taste good, it may look good, but I always tell my administrators we need to change how we feed our patients, because and this is their opportunity to learn how to eat while we have them as a captive audience in the hospital bed, and we haven't gotten there yet. So we're still giving you food, even in the hospital, that is not conducive to having good bacteria. And patients in their mind say, well, if I can eat this in the hospital, they fed it to me in the hospital, it must be okay. So I'll go back home and continue to eat the same thing. Unfortunately, that's not true. We have not gotten to the point where we've connected your hospital admission to the food that we feed you in the hospital, and understand that there is a connection between how long you stay in the hospital and how long we continue to feed you sugar and other things that are in the negative in terms of food that is consumed and is given to you while during your hospital stay. I always say the healthiest patients in the hospital are those who are just on IV nutrition, getting their amino acids IVs and their NPO. They're not allowed to take anything orally. Again, you're listening to KLAV, station 1230, KLAV, station 1230 AM. Please give us a call at 702-731-1230, 702-731-1230. We'll be right back. Do you know that 60% of the healthcare dollars spent over the next 10 years will be spent on stem cells or a stem cell related process? Listen in as we define for you how medicine will change your life and the life of those who you love over the next 10 to 15 years.
Covering the issues that matter and adding years to your life. Longevity with Dr. Wilcox. Monday and Thursday morning at 10. Only here on KLAV.
Just about 4 years ago, I was longboarding, hit the side of a truck. This coming spring, I will have had 7 different surgeries. I'm sent home with the oxycodone and the Percocet. The dose milligram, it didn't change, but how often I would take them did. I wanted to stop. These withdrawal symptoms are something that I wish upon no one. That's where the help comes in. I went to my doctor, Dr. Wilcox. He claimed withdrawal free. It was literally a miracle. I feel, I would say 100% better.
I'm Dr. Simmon Wilcox. I've been practicing medicine for the last 23 years. My passion has been drug and alcohol dependency, particularly methamphetamine. So what I've done in my practice, I've re-engineered how we approach the detox rejuvenation process. We offer a series of intravenous treatments. You go through a process where you don't feel any symptoms. My staff's priority is to ensure you're not having that discomfort.
For more information on this miraculous treatment, call Dr. Simmon Wilcox today at 702-900-2953. Once again, that's 702-900-2953. Just in time for the holiday season, Dr. Wilcox is offering an exclusive deal for KLAV listeners. Get a free 15-minute consultation with the purchase of a vitamin B12 injection, half price, Myers cocktail, half price, or glutathione injection. For more info, call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953. Better act fast. This is an offer on a first-come, first-served basis to a maximum of 10 patients per day. Visit Dr. Wilcox's office in Summerlin, 8751 Charleston, Suite 210, behind Fleming Steakhouse. Don't miss out on this exclusive holiday offer. Call Dr. Wilcox's office at 702-900-2953.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life. This is Longevity with Dr. Wilcox.
We're back there at the bottom of the hour. I think, JR, you had a question during the break.
Yeah, I was just curious if you say there's no way to really measure the, if we're getting enough.
Enough of the
fermented foods.
Okay.
And, the probiotics. How do you, would a bowel movement, if you increased your bowel movements, would that be a sign that you're going the right direction? Or because that could be a way to measure it?
If you talk about linear thinking, one would empirically say yes, but the reality is that we don't know. We don't know that just because you do get to 3 bowel movements a day, we know that that's a healthier place to be. We know that you've decreased your transit time. We know that you've decreased your chance of developing colon cancer by moving towards 3 bowel movements a day. But having 3 bowel movements a day doesn't guarantee that your bacteria mix good bacteria, bad bacteria has been achieved in the appropriate way. We have no good studies to do that. It's kind of difficult because to study it, we need to be able to access the bacteria in a better way, in a more non-invasive way in terms of gathering that bacteria, so we can measure what's going on. So there's been no good studies to support that concept, but I still encourage people to move towards 3 bowel movements a day as opposed to once a week. And most people who do that tell us that they're feeling better, that they don't feel the level of discomfort, that they don't feel the level of bloating. Yeah. But what most patients will tell me, though, as they're moving and getting better with taking their probiotics, whether they're taking the pills as Sheila was doing earlier, or whether they're taking something in terms of fermented foods, they tell me is that the level of abdominal distension has decreased. And so that tells me indirectly that they're doing better. They're doing a better job, that they're actually putting in check a lot of the bacteria, that you don't have much of the methane gas or the sulfur that's being released from all those necessary bad bacteria they have there. So that there is improvement in an indirect way, but we don't have a way to truly measure that. But again, we still push towards 3 a day. Yeah. We need it as a goal.
Yeah. Is there a way to tell if we've eaten too much or we haven't had enough? I mean, we've kind of went around it, but I guess depending on our diet.
Yeah, it's hard to know if you've had enough. Let me just say, there's no such thing as too much.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. There's no such thing as too much. So the more you do, the better off you're going to be. The closer you're going to be towards having optimal health, the less issues you're going to develop in terms of your medical problems, and the more you're going to see a reduction in anything that qualifies as being inflammatory. And your arthritis, that's inflammatory, from your Crohn's, that's inflammatory, from your skin conditions that are inflammatory, from your colitis that's inflammatory. All those inflammatory kind of conditions that we're taking Motrin for, that we're taking all the prescription and anti-inflammatories for, all of those you should see reduced, including the pain related to it, as you improve your food intake, because you won't have the compromise that you have. And what people often see as they correct and adjust their bacteria count, they'll see a weight loss, because the bad bacteria holds on to fat. Okay. And so the bad bacteria, fat bungles, they absorb the fat and they hold on to it. The good bacteria will help you digest it and move it away and move it through the intestine. So in the studies they've done, these studies were actually on rats, not on humans, but on those studies they saw that the rats were who had bad bacteria was consistently 15% to 20% heavier than those who had good bacteria. Wow. And they feel it does translate into humans, that we're going to see a person being heavier. They won't lose 100 pounds, but they can see a 10 to 20% change in their weight just by changing the bacteria. Because remember, it's 4 to 10 pounds already of bacteria that's there. Now, if you're able to modify that, so you have a lower amount of bacteria, more good bacteria, less bad bacteria, bacteria that doesn't absorb the fat, you're going to be better off at the end of the day.
Wow. That makes sense. That's good.
So it makes a big difference. A lot of people will say, and I'll say it again, the intestines, the gut, is the seat of all diseases. All diseases start in the gut. If they don't start in the gut, then the aggravation of those diseases it emanates from the gut. It's all about what we're eating or what we're failing to eat in terms of what is the actual final outcome in terms of what we experience.
I don't think people really, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know myself never understood that as much, how important it was, your gut.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing it. A lot of individuals ignore it. We'll focus on doing what's easy. We'll get a haircut, we'll get a facial, we'll get our toes done, we'll get our nails done. We'll go to the gym, we'll work out, we'll work on our muscles, and try to look toned and fit. But somehow when it comes to the belly, we kind of skip that. We skip the focus on the belly, and we try to fix the belly by exercising away, by doing our walks, by doing our treadmill. And as a personal trainer, I always say, the belly is 80% diet, 20% exercise. The rest of the body is 80% exercise, 80% exercise, and 20% diet.
Wow.
But so if you're going to change your belly, you got to change your diet. You know, and yes, it is harder to change a man's religion. Easier to change a man's religion than change his diet, but the belly is 80% diet. So what you want to do is do the right thing with that diet. You want to eat the right foods. You want to make the right consumption and food choices, not just for yourself as an adult, but for the young children in the household, so they become almost empowered because it's one of the food products they've eaten since they were 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, and we're not trying to change them at 25 and 26 and 27. That we've taught them this, that they've incorporated this, that the kids can help make and ferment the foods at home. So it's become part of a game they play. The same way they help moms or dad cook at home, they can help you ferment the foods at home. You buy a fermenting cookbook. It's very simple. Doesn't require any heat. You just simply put in the right amount of vinegar, etc. You put it into a little special jar, and it sits there for X amount of time. And like in the old days, it allows you to hold on to the food longer, allows the food to be more stable, allows the food to last long without spoiling. But more importantly, it helps to improve the quality of your health drastically. So it's very, very helpful. Again, we're taking phone calls at 702-731-1230. We're taking phone calls at 702-731-1230. I think, Tony, was there a question you had there?
I did, Doctor. Just out of curiosity, with all this talk about bowel movements, what should it look like?
This is really a sexy conversation. You know?
At least it's not Thanksgiving. We're not going for a big dinner.
Yeah. There's not a real clear consensus as to what should look. Some people will say it should be a foot long and very light. Others say it should be very fluffy. What I like to say is that you should not be having constipation. You should not be having these difficult bowel movements where you're doing a lot of work, a lot of grunting and pressing for the bowel movement to be experienced. Because if that's what's happening, you need to be talking to your doctor and figure out how to make it a better experience. But it shouldn't be a fight. It shouldn't be a war. And some people are having wars every time they go to the bathroom. So that's a problem. That's a problem. So, but it's not a clear consensus as to what that should look like, because part of it is a function of what you're eating and how much of what you're eating that you're consuming, and how long what you've consumed has been in the colon is going to, at the end of the day, determine what it looks like and what the experience feels like. But that's an interesting question. One always wants to know, is the bowel movements I'm having this week better than ones I had last week? And we haven't gotten the science to the point where we really understand that. But thank you for that question.
Thanks, Tom.
Sure enough. We're at KLAV 1230 AM, KLAV 1230 AM. Want to thank Sheila for calling in today and sharing her experience and the inquiry she made. I want to thank Lisa for calling today and giving her testimony as to how she responded to the various treatments we offered her in terms of the intravenous glutathione and the intravenous omegas. Thank Tony, thank JR, and thank Tim DJ for all you've done for me this past year. I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, a happy and prosperous new year. And this is the last show of the year. We'll be back on Thursday with our first show of 2014. Please listen in. Remember, we have our training packages, personal trainers, IV therapies. Just call us to gain clarity about those packages. And the Ultra packages, actually, you get me as your personal trainer. There's 4 people a year we train. You can call us at the office, 702-749-7111, 702-749-7111. We're located behind Fleming's, a restaurant on one parking lot over from Whole Foods in Summerlin. Thank you much. Have a great year.
Have a great year. Remember, this is the year of prosperity, and health is wealth.
Health is wealth. There's nothing wealthier than health.
That's right.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Take care.